All right, huge.
Yes, thank you, Robbo. How was golf?
Golf was the company and experience had was better than the golf for me personally. The guy who's not with us here may have had a slightly different experience because he did better. But no, it was nice. It was nice to get away. I'm not sure if people listened to last night, but you may or may not have been able to tell we might have had a drink by the time we recorded yesterday. But no, it was good. It was good.
Was the
nice.
food good? How was your lemon tart?
There's a little bit of a story behind the food. So we had to pre-order when we first got to the golf course yesterday.
Yeah.
And I chose blade of beef, a pate to start, a blade of beef, and then a lemon tart.
Yeah.
I didn't eat most of those. Apparently, a conversation was had as we were being sat. Now, unfortunately, I was one of the last in our group to be sat to sit down. I was probably going to the toilet or talk to my wife or something. And so I wasn't made aware of any of this. But when I sat down, all of a sudden, the main comes out, the starters come out, pate, perfect. I love a bit of pate. But the mains come out and there's no beef. So I got served pork belly, which, don't get me wrong, it was lovely. Not beef. But it was delicious.
Animals, right?
But yes, considerably different. And if the blade of beef had got a crispy top on it, that might have been a bit more dubious. And then the pudding comes out, and that was what can only be described as cheesecake. So, but it was still very nice. The food, it was very good. Apparently, the lads have been told that they'd run out of beef. How they do that when you pre-order, I have no idea. But anyway, that's
I know.
Not my bag. But the food that we had was very nice, accompanied with some very nice wine. And yeah, we were back and tucked up in bed by 12:30, and had a very pleasant evening by all accounts.
Lovely.
But no, it was nice. And then breakfast this morning was very nice, but served on a plate and was what can only describe as insufficiently sized. But no, how was your last couple of days been? I'm not
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah, it's been good, mate. It's been good. I've been watching a lot of cricket, been watching a lot of rugby. Yeah, semi-finals for the rugby look exciting, but I suppose more importantly, we got a cricket game to talk about, an interesting one at that in terms of New Zealand and the Netherlands.
Yeah. New Zealand versus the Netherlands ended up being quite a comfortable. I think it was classed as comfortable, wasn't it? Comfortable win.
Yep.
Or an easy win. No, it was an easy win on
Super Brew,
on the old Super Brew. But yeah, I think again it probably doesn't necessarily tell the whole story of the fixture. Yeah, some interesting. So you've got some interesting stats for us, I believe. Some firsts for the tournament.
Yeah, first fifer of the tournament, well bowled Mitchell Santner. It was good to see him take some wickets. He's also now the leading wicket taker. Saying that, we've only played a handful of games. We're only in day 5 of the Cricket World Cup so far. So yeah, he's obviously got the first fifer. No hundreds in this match, which was interesting. I thought we'd see more. We've seen hundreds in most of the other matches, or I know Australia didn't have one yesterday, but, Rahul got 97 red, so he was on track to get it. And I suppose the reason I bring that up, it's just interesting to see how bat is still dominating ball, unless there is a big mismatch in some of the, what would be classified as the smaller sides versus, the well-established test playing nations. Let's go with that. But yeah, it was an interesting game. I watched some of it. I didn't get to watch all of it, unfortunately. I do have to work for a living, contrary to popular belief. But comfortable or easy win according to Super Brew. It was really tight though. Did you see that? 99 runs. 99, I think both of us put a thrashing. And if there was just that one more run that they'd won by, then we would have been in the pound seats for that.
Yeah, exactly. I've been reading some articles, actually, huge, and there's a lot of people that on the old social media that are saying they're finding it difficult to get into this World Cup. Obviously, we're only at day 5. India have only played one game, but are you experiencing sort of similar things? Are you finding it? Are you noticing people sort of finding it a bit more difficult?
Well, I'm not really surveying the masses. I'm experiencing and going on my personal experience. I don't mind. I'm up for every game. I'm interested in I worked most of the day as most of our listeners would have done, but I went straight onto the Cricket World Cup website and watched the highlights, and I wanted to see how things went. And see if there was any controversy and read up on some articles just to understand. One, to obviously do this podcast on the Cricket World Cup Daily that we do, but secondly, I am interested in it. So I am still, tomorrow morning England play. I'll be up at 6 o'clock because I'm quite interested in seeing how that goes. Obviously, we'll get to that in a little while around, some possible challenges that it might be facing. But yeah, I mean, I'm up for most of the games. I don't know. I'm up for most cricket though. It was interesting listening to you and Jono talk yesterday, by the way, about the 50 over format and is it going to last? And from my perspective, any cricket will last. I'm a bit of a cricket nose, and I will pretty much watch any cricket going. Men, women, under age, under 18, over 50s, walking cricket, whatever there is going, I'm pretty much up for that. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just some articles that I've seen or some people writing on social media that have sort of, it doesn't seem to have had the same. Obviously, the last one was in England, and most of the social media I get is based in and around people from England. So that seemed to have a different sort of thing to it. I mean, when you look at it, it's going to be 8 weeks?
7 weeks, yeah.
7 weeks long, which is nearly as long as the Rugby World Cup. And to be fair, within the Rugby World Cup, that makes sense. I get it. Because obviously the player protection and all that kind of stuff, they can't play very often when they're smashing into each other. But for me, I think you might start to get a little more buy-in from the general populace. Obviously, we love cricket. I'm a bit like you are. I like watching cricket, although I've not, unfortunately, had a chance to watch as much as this World Cup because of the times it's been on and there's things I've been doing. But then I would have liked to be honest. But I think coming up to the end of the tournament, once you probably get to my guess is they're having a semi-final. It's going straight semi-final, final. So it seems weird.
Yeah.
It seems weird to me that you're going 6 weeks of round robin games, and then within the space of 7 days, it's all going to be done. That seems a little bit strange to me.
Yeah, but you got to remember when we did the last big podcast, the full one, we did speak about it in terms of this is so that the smaller nations actually get more game time. It also gives the bigger nations more of an opportunity to qualify.
Yeah.
And we called out who we thought our top four would be because we think what's going to happen. I'm still sticking to my top four, by the way. I'm not moving off that. It'll be interesting to see and catch up with you guys along the way. But yeah, from my perspective, New Zealand really showed their class today and came out on top. There was time in the innings when they had to rebuild. They batted really well. It was good to see Young get some runs after being strangled down the leg side in his first game. He looked very, very good. Rachin Ravinda looked class again, scoring another 50. Conway, obviously, with his 150 in the last game and 30 in this game, still top of the piles in terms of runs. I think people are going to struggle to catch him with the start that he's had. And then just the class of the New Zealand bowling. Obviously, Santner, as I said, did very well to take some wickets. But to clean up the tail, the paceman of Henry, he just absolutely skittled everybody really quickly.
They're a very well-organised unit, aren't they, New Zealand? I think you look at it, they've made it to the last two World Cup finals, lost one, technically lost the other, but we'll leave that open to our Kiwi listeners to discuss that further. England got the trophy, so yeah. But no, they're very
talking of that loss. Did you happen to see the Trent Bolt catch today, where identical to the one where he put his foot on the boundary in the World Cup final?
Yeah, it's ifs and buts, and there's so many different things that you can look at through that happen within cricket, and people might say that Trent Bolt learned from.
Yeah, there's a epitome of learning right there. Jeez, yeah.
But no, there has been some good cricket. There has been some very good cricket. There's been some slightly average cricket. England played very average cricket in the first game. But I think what's starting to show is, I think, for me personally, the bigger teams, obviously England didn't play great, but the other, what we sort of spoke about, those top six look comfortably favourites. How that then works out, I'd like to say we've made our predictions for the semi-finals earlier. I think it's still very, very early to call things like that. New Zealand have obviously started off very, very well. South Africa started off very, very well.
But it's only one game.
We've still got another 5 weeks of round robin games to go. Yeah. So
this is the beauty of this tournament, and because it's so long, you have an opportunity to come back from a loss like England.
Yeah.
And And that's the beauty of this round robin with 10 teams in it. You're playing 9 games against everyone.
Yeah,
So,
you just hope that what it means is that come the semi-finals, that it's not New Zealand, for example, haven't gone off, won their first 6, and then not won any of their last 3, but because they've won the first 6 easily, have made it into that semi-final spot, qualify 4th, but are completely out of nick and everything that's going off with that. And then you get to a semi and it's like, well, all of a sudden the semi can become a bit of a damp squid.
Well,
what you'd rather happen is, for example, if England aren't playing great, lost against New Zealand, don't necessarily put a great performance in against Bangladesh tomorrow, I still think they'll win, but there's a chance that they don't. It doesn't rule them out of the tournament still, two games down, 2 losses, but you kind of hope that they then can turn it around. I mean, there's some people arguing about schedules and things, but you want to be winning those games, like England did at last World Cup when they basically had a cup final every game from 3 games in just to qualify for the groups. Then you got a knockout stage, and then you got and that's kind of how you prefer it to be. It's all well and good getting off to a fast start.
Yeah,
but
I'm going to be slightly controversial. If you look at the Rugby World Cup right now and the way the draws worked out because of the way the pools were constructed as early as they were, you've arguably got what should be the semi-finals in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Wales and England and Fiji and Argentina, but you would argue that South Africa versus France and New Zealand versus Ireland should be the semi-finals, not the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this tournament has done is, well, hopefully will do, is you will, as you rightfully said, get those top 4.
Yeah.
They will come out as cream in the crop.
Yeah. You hope that happens. Speaking of England, we may as well have a small discussion on those tomorrow. There's some issues with the playing surface, isn't there? I mean, there's a rumour that Ben Stokes just isn't going to play because
I saw that.
They don't want to risk him playing on that field. That players have apparently been told to be careful when they're diving and stuff. That's not flash, is it?
No. So I think Ben Stokes is classified as not fit. I totally get that. Apparently, for those that haven't seen it as yet, apparently the outfield is very, very sandy. And it's interesting because, they're playing at the same ground where Bangladesh and Afghanistan played on Saturday, so Dharamsala. And apparently the field wasn't great then. It's still not great. But yeah, apparently reading social media, Butler said it feels really awkward because you can't give your 100% and put your body on the line because there's a very good chance that you could get injured if you did that on this outfield, which restricts you from playing your best. Now, that's not great to hear, first of all, but yeah, I guess, it's not the first time we've seen this. It's not the last we'll see of it.
No, it's I just think it's a bit sad, isn't it? I mean, you all this. For me, it's just another little nudge in the direction of, like, is this format of cricket heading where we want it to? When, I mean, we saw what happened in the West Indies 16 years ago when some of their grounds weren't fit and weren't kind of prepared properly for it, and you did have some players get injured, and so it's not ideal. It's not ideal. I still think England are favourites to win that game.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
you just have to. I think they'll just manage certain players, and I think if it's a case of diving, stop one on the boundary that potentially saves 2. Are you going to have a look at it and go, well, we should be winning by more than 2? I know you shouldn't make that assumption as an England player, but if it's a case of you're getting injured, then not great.
And I don't think the toss is going to make a difference because it's a day game, right? I know it's 6:00 start tomorrow morning. So a nice early start, 10:30 local time. And then there's also a second game tomorrow too in Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
Which could be quite a good game. Yeah, I may or may not have made some harsh comments about Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. But I don't think anyone would disagree with the rankings that we kind of put in the first place with that sort of top 6, 3 and 3 you would have said beforehand. But no, so that could be. I mean, Pakistan are the sort of side that could lose that and then go out and demolish Australia or something, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Sri Lanka kind of developing a bit more now. they've gone away. That they've struggled really since Jar Wardner and Sangakkara and those guys have left. So, but yeah, they are the sort of side that will beat a Pakistan that's not quite on it.
Yeah. We will see all about what's going to happen tomorrow. So I think it's myself and Jono tomorrow.
It is, yes.
You get a day off.
I have a night off.
Fantastic.
Which will be nice. Shout out tomorrow to everyone who's listened to this. It is, we've kind of gone away from this a little bit, but tomorrow is World Mental Health Day. So anyone listening to this today, tomorrow, depending on when you chucks it out there, just check your mates are okay. And if you're not okay, go and speak to someone. We're doing a bit of a thing at work work have put us onto a new app, which you sort of, it looks after you, apparently. It checks your mood on a daily basis, and if it thinks you're not okay, it will send you some messages and provide support, not medical help. Can't do that.
Very good. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it's an app. Send you a shock when you're not being when
you're asleep at work.
Yeah.
But no, so keep checking in on
10th of October, in case when you listen to this. Yeah, 10th of October.
But anyway, yeah, I think that's probably us done.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy your day off tomorrow, mate, and I'll speak to Jono tomorrow.
I will try. Same to you, mate. Have fun.
Cheers,
bye. Bye.